Thank you very much, Senator Representative Rotundo. My name is John Delahanty. I'm a lawyer with Pierce Atwood and also up here in that capacity for Poland Spring. And I've enjoyed the past couple of days listening to Mr. Riggs make his presentations. And I just have a couple of comments I'd like to put out, because for 30 years I've worked within Maine's environmental statutes and rules and regulations. But before I get to that, just a comment about the metal-clad case. And I don't know the country of Mexico's environmental regulations, because I'm sure the town of Mexico's environmental regulations and their processes are likely much better than they have in the country of Mexico. But of course there are a couple of folks here who probably know better than I do. But it's my understanding in the metal-clad case that a permit was issued, that the landfill was constructed. Were there statements made? Obviously there were some statements made. But an operational permit was not issued. And therefore, the investors went and sought a tribunal, and a tribunal found, based on those facts, that the investors had justifiably relied on the government's representations regarding the status of the permits, and that the government was fully aware that the landfill was under construction. That's my understanding of the case. Rightly or wrongly, the process, I don't know. But I think that type of a process would be extremely difficult to have happen in Maine. Likewise, Senator Jackson, you mentioned about Aroostook County. I can't imagine a company coming into this state and beginning to endeavor to undertake a large-scale water extraction simply based upon the representations of a local official. Everyone knows about Maine's extremely robust environmental laws. And, and in listening to what Peter has said the past couple of days, I think he mentioned it here, that if laws are adopted, laws and regulations are adopted and applied with due process, there's notice, opportunity to be heard, that the application is fair, applies to all in a non-discriminatory manner. That's the way you can protect the state from actions under NAFTA. Now, can someone sue? Anyone can sue and bring a case, but the likelihood of success would be significantly diminished simply based upon how Maine acts already, how this legislature acts, how the Department of Environmental Protection, LURC, Department of Health and Human Services, all agencies that oversee water extraction adopt their regulations. And as I mentioned, I've seen Maine and worked with Maine's environmental regulations for 30 years. And I would hope that we could all be in agreement that Maine has very robust environmental laws and regulations that are designed to protect and preserve our watersheds, and wouldn't be found to be so unreasonable or onerous that would justify compensation. That's not to say you shouldn't be concerned about what's happening on the national level. Or on the international trade level. But I also know there's a lot of misunderstanding and a lack of understanding about how Maine's water extraction laws are presently enforced or overseen and regulated. And as has been mentioned in the Rural Caucus, they have had a presentation by Andy Fisk, the director of the Bureau of Water, Bob Marvini, the state geologist, Andy Tolman from the Drinking Water Program at Department of Health and Human Services. And as the word gets out, I think as people understand that companies can't come in and put a well down and suck an aquifer dry, whether it's a Maine company, a New England company, a company out of West Virginia, or a multinational corporation. If they did that, I'm confident that the Department of Environmental Protection would be there to shut them down on a moment's notice. And if they didn't know about it, I'm confident that people at the local level would be calling their state representatives, their state senators, and saying what's happening. So, and I heard talk of a commission, not to look at the bills, but 2 years ago, there was legislation passed as a result of it came about as a reaction to a potential referendum on bottled water. There was legislation put in, there was lengthy negotiation, agreement by all to make changes to Maine's water extraction laws. And those are in force. And as a result of that legislation, a commission was set up under the direction of Bob Marvini, the state geologist, and it's a water resources commission. And what they are doing is taking a look at all the watersheds of the state of Maine and ranking them. They're going around ranking them as to those that might be at some risk, those that, you know, don't need any attention at this particular time. And as you've heard, I mean, Maine is blessed with substantial amounts of water, precipitation that seeps into the groundwater. It's very instructive to hear what Andy Fisk, Andy Tolman, and Bob Marvini have to say. And I point that out, and I wanted to make these comments, and I appreciate this opportunity. This is the first commission hearing I've attended. It's been a pleasure to listen to your discussions, and as I said, to listen to what Peter had to say. But you know, to understand what Maine already has in the books, how it's applied, you know, too few people know that. And I just wanted to take this opportunity to briefly mention some of the ways that it is covered. And as I said, it's DEP site law, it's Natural Resource Protection Act, it's a drinking water program, it's DEP, it's LURC, it's Department of Health and Human Services, the drinking water program. There is robust regulation at this particular point, and I don't think it will be changed. With that, I thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you, Mr. Delahanty. Question I'd have, though, like, you know, this commission's thinking about, you know, making a recommendation. Given the number of bills there are, do you not think it would be prudent for everyone, yourself included, that if this